Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Legislative Council elections are just around the corner, with voters in 3 electorates to head to the polls. There's a heavyweight battle brewing in the south that could swing the upper house balance.
Launching her re-election campaign to a red-blooded army, Sarah Lovell wants another 6 years representing Hobart's eastern reaches.
It's about scrutinising legislation and making sure that the legislation that is being passed is delivering good outcomes for your electorate. I think I've got a good track record of that over the last 6 years.
The rumble in the Rumney headlines the card of 3 upper house elections in under a fortnight. After losing in neighbouring Pembroke last year, Liberal candidate Gregory Brown is running a more grassroots campaign. His focus, antisocial behaviour and hooning on streets.
I fully support people to be able to do that professionally, and I'm happy to help them find a place to do it. But in our public streets where people live isn't the place to do it.
Independent Tony Mulder held the seat of Rumney until 2017. The now Clarence councillor is throwing his hat in the ring once again.
The Legislative Council is a house of review. It can only function as a house of review if it's not dominated by the parties.
Tasmania's upper house is finally balanced between left and right. A win for Sarah Lovell would maintain that. Any other result would likely give it a more conservative tilt. Elsewhere, independents are seeking re-election. Ruth Forrest wants a 4th run in Murchison and Rosemary Armitage a 3rd in Launceston.
Something I always try to do is be a strong voice for the North. As far as I'm concerned, I fight very hard for Northern Tasmania for a fair go.
Voters head to the polls on May 6. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The local government minister says he's pleased by the response so far to a controversial report suggesting substantial reforms to councils. Amalgamations and service sharing between smaller councils firmly put on the table by the local government board in the interim report.
With any major structural reform, there's going to be contention. We don't expect everybody to agree wholeheartedly with everything that we propose, but we're willing to work with anybody who's got an opinion on what we're doing going forward.
The final report is due in September. The Police Association of Tasmania chief has quit, blasting the force on his way out. In a shock move, Colin Riley has ended his 4-year term, citing a frustration of Tasmania Police's inability to identify problems and bring change. Calling the stint a privilege and a life-changing experience, he will now return to active policing. Critical food aid programs will receive a helping hand with new grants being launched. Relief organisations can apply to share in $150,000 to continue delivering support to Tasmanians in need.
Across the state, we know that there are cost of living pressures and that we need to keep providing support to these emergency food relief organisations.
Applications open on Thursday. The inspiration behind the Jack Jumpers' annual Teal game, Joe Harris, has died. The matches support the She Foundation, raising awareness for gynecological cancers. In a statement, the club says Joe's story has been nothing short of inspirational and will be remembered for her beautiful smile, unwavering courage and as a loving wife and mother. Crowds have flocked to Launceston to see the Hawks and Crows battle it out for the Alec Campbell Cup. It's the 3rd time UTAS Stadium has hosted the Anzac Day tribute match, with Longford local Chase Jones making his AFL debut on his home ground.
It's a homecoming like no other for this Tasmanian Crow. Former Longford and Launceston star Chase Jones swooping in for his first match at UTAS Stadium.
Beforehand it was a bit weird playing with a bit more of a crowd than usual with the TSL things, but no, I loved it.
A larger Crows contingent coming out of the woodwork for the Anzac round clash with the Hawks.
They definitely come out today, so no, it was good to see a few more Crows fans in Tassie and hopefully put on a decent show and got the W, so that was a good part of it.
It's the 3rd time Hawthorn and Adelaide have gone head-to-head for the Alec Campbell Cup. The Tasmanian, who died in 2002, was the last surviving Gallipoli veteran.
You know, the mateship, the courage, the endurance and the sacrifice that comes with being a server. Hopefully we can show a small version of what the Diggers have shown before us as we play for that cup today.
Hawthorn paying tribute to its own fallen soldiers for Anzac Day. A distinctive Guernsey ensures they aren't forgotten.
The hawks that you can see flying in the background, there's 12 on the front and 7 on the back. 19 players who represented our football club died in service.
The significance of the day isn't lost on Hawks fan Kathy. She travels from Melbourne for the match each year.
It's so nice to pay respect to those who have gone before us to keep our country the way it is.
Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
Thousands of revellers have given the Derwent Valley Autumn Festival a warm return after a COVID hiatus. The event was free to the public, giving local families a fun and affordable day out.
Basking in the sunshine beneath a breathtaking seasonal backdrop, Tasmanians made the most of the Derwent Valley Autumn Festival.
The weather is stunning. It's a little bit more like summer, although not in the valley. Summers in the valley are very hot.
Around 10,000 people lapping up the festivities.
We've only lived in the valley for about 3 years, and it's the first time it's been on due to COVID, etc. So yeah, it's lovely to come down and see what the valley's got to offer. It's beautiful.
The cracking figure more than double organisers' predictions.
We thought if we got 5,000, we'd be really happy with that. It hasn't been on for the past 3 years. It's just unbelievable, so overwhelming and so wonderful for the valley.
The Derwent Valley Rotary Club working with a number of sponsors to bring the event back to life.
We have some of the best produce, I think, in the world, and so having a place where people can come and experience some of that, I think that, along with the community, really sets us apart.
The festival had something for all ages and interests, from wood chopping contests and line dancing lessons to food stalls and raffle draws. Tame rides and fire truck tours also entertaining the young ones.
There's so many cool things for the kids to do as well. So yeah, he's had a look. There were some snakes over there we saw, so he's had a look at some of the snakes and had a bit of a play on the musical instruments.
The family fun day done, dusted and deemed a roaring success. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
A Burpee Masters attempt to break her own 24-hour record didn't pan out as expected, but she still reached a major milestone. Luke Calvert suffered a wrist injury at 2,700 repetitions. The athlete pushed through the pain to achieve 3,000 burpees before stopping the clock shortly after 9:30 last night.
I could have had an injection in it, but that's only going to mask the pain. It's not going to fix the problem, so I decided to call it, and my body's worth more than that.
Lou says it's the last time she'll be taking on the challenge, now joining the majority of people who dislike the exercise. But it isn't all bad news. Her rigorous feat raised more than $20,000 for spinal cord injury rehabilitation in Tasmania. The Hobart Chargers have come away with a narrow 3-point win against Knox in the NBL 1 South. It came down to the wire at the Hobart Sports Centre last night, with a Hail Mary attempt to tie the match coming up short.
We go! Saves it. Oh, it's a tie again! Tie! Back high and play! And that is it! Hobart win in remarkable circumstances!
The Chargers winning at 76-73, while it was a different story for the Northwest in Ulverston. Despite the Thunder ahead by 9 points at the start of the fourth quarter, Ballarat won 84-94. And in the women's, it was raining 3-point shots for the Launceston Tornadoes in their 96-58 victory in Ulverston. A total of 15 were made in the game, including 3 in the final term alone.
Way for the boys for the men's go. Oh! Riley Lupa! That's 3 triples in this last quarter.
While in Hobart, the Chargers fell to the Knox Raiders 59-74.
Good evening. 22 was the state's top today in Launceston, Devonport and Burnie 20, 18 in Hobart, 20 across Flinders Island and Wynyard, Strawn 17 and 18 in Grove. On the close-up, low cloud is seen over Flinders Island with patchy higher level cloud streaming over the state. Large portions of the country were cloud-free today with low-level cloud over Queensland. A large high is expected to the east of Tasmania tomorrow, extending a ridge over eastern areas of the country. North to northwesterly winds tomorrow, 15 to 25 knots, reaching 30 knots in the southwest, swells up to 3 metres in the west and south and up to 1 metre in the north. A strong wind warning is current for the south-west coast. Tomorrow's forecast now: Hobart sunny, 19 in Dover, sunny and 22. In the north, Launceston and Devonport partly cloudy, a possible shower in Scottsdale. Burnie tomorrow, partly cloudy, 19 across Strawn and Stanley. St Helens and Ross, partly cloudy and mostly sunny in Swansea. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now: Tuesday fine and mostly sunny after patchy morning fog. Wednesday partly cloudy about the north, mostly sunny elsewhere. And Thursday showers developing in the northwest, extending statewide in the afternoon. Capital cities 20 and showers in Perth tomorrow. Canberra mostly sunny and a shower or two in Sydney. And it's currently clear right across the state, with Hobart sitting on 12, Launceston 13 and Devonport 13. And that's all in Sunday night weather, Lou.
Wonderful, and looking beautiful too. Thank you for that, Jackie. And that's all your news for tonight as well. Thank you for joining us. Kim Miller will be back in the chair tomorrow, but from the weekend team, it's good night.